Good evening.
Hello.
How are we all? Matt, you good?
I'm good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. Keep fucking dragging you out of bed though.
It's a choice, mate. You're not physically here. Don't worry.
Oh. Alright, there we go. Oh dear. How are we all? Are we all well? I see Dominica is
Excellent.
working on the treadmill. I actually ordered one this morning because I was out for my morning walk and I just thought, you know what? Even when I come out for my morning walk and doing steps at the gym before I train, it's not enough. So I thought, I spend so much time in the day sat on my arse at my desk. I might as well buy a fucking treadmill and then I can just, even if I'm walking at like 2.5 miles an hour or something, I'll probably end up racking up about 20,000 fucking steps a day. Either that or it'll remain ever so slightly pushed under my desk and I'll just sit down anyway with my feet slightly elevated because I'll be using it as a footstool. Oh, dear. Stephen, are you well, mate?
I'm good. I'm very warm. I'm good.
Yeah, snap. Oh, Richard. One of the OGs. He's back. How you doing, mate? Oh, we've got 2 more people trying to get in. Darren's in. Ausra's in. Oh, Harry's here. I've got a full screen, boys and girls. Check this shit out.
Everybody's excited about the Dick Donuts again.
That's it. Everybody's here.
It's the only reason I'm here.
Everybody's here for the Dick Donuts. Lewis
If
is
it's
like,
not talked about this week, I'm gone.
Lewis is literally sat like, what the fuck are you talking about? Oh dear. Yeah, that was something that I came out with towards the back end of last week's call. I literally, for the life of me, cannot remember how I ended up getting on to talking about. Oh, that was it. We were talking about just living your life by your terms and just not giving a fuck about what other people might think, regardless of what it is in your life that you want, whether it's a sexual proclivity. It doesn't fucking matter. And I was like, if I want to sit in my living room with an erection with fucking stack of donuts on it and fucking eat the donuts off it, then I can do. Not that I was the one that brought it up. I was answering a question, just for additional clarity. But anyway. See, everybody that knows Steve knew that was going to come up. Like, immediately. Fucking hell. Anyway, what Andy wants to talk about this week.
I'm going to mute myself before I start.
Good idea, mate. Good idea. Is standards. So, for those of you that have seen it, I posted a brief video that I recorded the other day. It may have even been yesterday. Who can tell anymore? Because who was it? Who was it that I was having the conversation with? Matthew, was it you? Was it you that I was having the conversation with about standards?
Possibly. Yeah.
I think we talked about it when we were voice noting, maybe. But I had a full
We did,
conversation
we
with
did.
somebody about it. Because standards is the starting point for anything that's ever going to change. Because everything that you do right now is just the standard that you have for that thing right now. So the way that your body looks, that's the standard that you hold yourself to. How much exercise you get, the way that you eat, the way that you think, how much effort you make to control what you think, the amount of money that you make, the house that you live in, the cleanliness of the house, or the absolute fucking disarray of said house, the way that you dress, the way that you are with your partner, the partner that you have. Like, there isn't a thing in your life that exists that isn't subject to the standard that you hold for that thing. And the craziest thing for me is, over the years, I've dealt with thousands of people now, multiples of thousands of people, who have had something in their life that they have not liked. Whether it's their finances, whether it's their body, whether it's their mentality, their mental health, whether it's their partner, whatever. Who are always looking for the solution to that problem being external to themselves. And the starting point for anything that you deem to be beneath what you want it to be in your life right now is the standard that you hold for yourself with regards to that. Now, this obviously is intrinsically linked to identity, your belief systems, your core values, which is, as I've spoken about numerous times, the things that your parents, other family members, people from when you were young instilled upon you. It all links together. The standard that you hold for yourself in something is going to correlate directly with your core values, with your belief systems, with your identity. Because it would be impossible for you to raise your standards in something which would call of you to be a better person, be more structured, be more disciplined, be harder working, whatever it is. It would be impossible to raise your standards in one area of your life and the other things in your life not gradually begin to change. It's what I refer to as the bleed effect. So let's say somebody's a fatty and they go, I'm sick of looking like a bag of yogurt. I'm going to start fucking getting my shit together. I'm going to start going out for a walk every day. I'm going to be more conscious of my food. I'm going to start tracking my calories. If they don't know how to track the calories, they raise the standard in that and they go, I'm going to learn how to track my fucking calories. I'm going to make additional efforts, right? That standard is raised. If that standard gets raised and maintained, that action will repeat so that their thoughts are going to change. Their feelings about that particular thing will begin to change. Their behaviour changes, the action continues, and when that cycle is allowed to proliferate for long enough, their identity changes. So they go from being fatty, who sits down on their ass all the time, eating too much, doing too little, making excuses, complaining all the time and doing fuck all about it, to making a slight adjustment in the standards, and that standard maintained results in, over a long enough time horizon, a shift in their identity. So think about the thing of your life that you dislike the most right now. That's the only thing that you ideally need to raise your standards in. Because the beauty of the bleed effect is that that standard, when raised, and it alters you as an individual, that identity, that higher standard, those changing belief systems, behaviours, bleeds into other areas and all boats rise, right? All boats rise with a rising tide. It's that kind of principle. Because it's unlikely that you're going to find someone who's absolutely fucking nailing a business. They've got the finances in order, they're putting money away, they've got investments, they've got trust funds set up for the kids, you know, the house is paid for, and all of their life accounts for maybe 20% of the total income. You know, they've got their shit together. And then one area of the life just be an absolute clusterfuck. It doesn't happen. I haven't met someone like that. You can meet someone like that who is just at the cusp of going, and going over the fucking edge. And then what happens? Everything else goes with it, right? Find someone who an area of their life completely destabilizes. It shatters that element of their identity. And that is the thing that then the rot sets in. And if they don't do the work that's necessary to maintain everything else, everything starts to fall apart. Usually because as soon as that element of their identity is now struggling, it's now weakened, they betray the fuck out of themselves. Left, right and centre. You know, so it could be like, in fact, you know what, I could so easily fucking digress and go on to the difference between self-sabotage and self-betrayal, but I'm going to try and not. I'm going to try and stay on topic of standards, otherwise this call will go, because I had pre-workout before and I'm still a bit fucking zingy from it, so. I'm fucking sweating here, man. Today's temperature is that temperature when you sweat loads, so I had a shower, and then when I got out, by the time I'd finished drying myself, because of the physical activity, I was sweating again. So what do you do?
You stay in the shower.
Yeah, all day. Do the call from the shower.
We'll get a treadmill.
Oh, I'm going to do that. That should arrive hopefully tomorrow. If not, it'll be here Friday. And then I'll be really fucking sweaty, won't I? I'm fucking walking all day. Anyway, never mind. But yeah, standards, it's... The reason why I kind of brought it up to the client that I was discussing it with the other day is because it's something that is what I would refer to as infallible. You can't argue the point away. You can't make a case that you don't need to raise your standards in that area of your life that you're unhappy with. Because if you don't need to raise your standards, why are you unhappy with it? Because if it's the standard that you want that area of your life to be at, you wouldn't be unhappy with it. So if you are dissatisfied with any area of your life, regardless of what it is, fucking do something about it. Because the way that you feel is a response to the thing. Whereas, again, most people think that the thing is a response to the way that you feel. As in, the feeling perpetuates the standard. And it doesn't. The standard perpetuates the feeling. Because if you have something in your life that you know is being managed, dealt with, looked after to a really low standard, what do you associate that sort of person with? What sort of person has something in their life that they really fucking don't like or they hate? They know the standard is on the fucking floor. They complain about it. They piss and moan about it. They wish that it was different and then do nothing about it. To me, they fight like, at the moment, I'm not happy with the way that I look. I'm carrying way too much body fat for me to be comfortable in the way that I look. So I'm dieting. I'm buying a treadmill so I can massively increase my step count. I'm making sure I'm going to the gym 4 or 5 times a week, whereas normally, because of how busy I am, 3 or 4 is enough. So I'm doing some weeks an extra 2 sessions. Every single one of those sessions is either preceded or followed by at least 20 minutes, half an hour walking on a treadmill on an incline. I'm being more conscious with my food. So my calories are lower. The amount of fat that I'm eating in a day is way less than what it was before. I'm making lots of conscious efforts to raise the standards in everything that I know is going to have a correlating impact on the way that I look. Because I wasn't happy with the way that I looked, ergo I'm doing everything that I can to change it. That just makes sense. If I was to feel the way that I feel about the way that I look and then sit around, complain about it, feel shit about it, but do nothing to change it, I'm being a fucking retard. I'm being a complete knobhead. And also, and I've said this a million times, and I've said it on loads of different calls, if you've got something in your life that is below the standard that you want, and you are unhappy with it, and you know it, and you're not doing something to change it actively, you have forfeited the right to complain about it. You don't retain the right to sulk and piss and moan and everything else, and then continue to do nothing about it. Because if somebody comes at me with that energy, a client, anybody, you get roasted for it. Because it's stupid. That's all it is. It is just complete stupidity to dislike something and not raise the standard. Once you start processing your life in this manner, you realise that there is so little of your life that isn't controllable by you. Because when you start thinking about your core values, your belief systems, your identity, your standards, you spend so much time introspectively assessing yourself to improve and to improve your life. You can't look inwards and outwards at the same time. So everything that you currently blame externally for the way that you feel, the way that you think, the way that you act, everything else, all of that stops. It doesn't mean that the external things that do have a genuine influence are going to go away and stop having an influence, but the influence that they have is infinitely less because you're not conscious of it. You get rid of what I refer to as awareness bias. Where if somebody becomes aware of something, the more aware of it you are, the more you think about it. The more you think about it, the more your attentional neurological system will trigger. So you pick up weaker and weaker and weaker signals about those specific things that you think about those things that you have become aware of. You know, it's like an immediate version of that is, say like you're looking to buy a car and you want a red one. Every time you turn around, there's a fucking red car there. They've always been there. But it's just that because you are now aware of the fact that you're looking for a red car, that attentional awareness system is firing on all cylinders. So every time you see something, even remotely red, your brain picks it out. The same thing happens with everything else. Once you become aware of the standard that you're unhappy with, you will feel the presence of that lacking standard so much more. And the one thing that you've got to control then is to not be aware of it and then just sit there and sulk and feel sorry for yourself. Because that is what an awful lot of people do, which is why so many people have things in their life that they're not happy with and then they never ever change. They never do enough of what is necessary to actually change what they want to. Because I think one of the most agitating things that I experience with clients is they will say, this is the thing that I want to change, I'll do anything. I say, don't tell me, show me. And then they show me that they don't really care that much. What they mean is, I will do as much as I think I should have to do in order to get the reward that I want. And if that amount of effort isn't enough, then I'm going to complain about it, I'm going to be entitled, I'm going to say that it's not fair, I'm going to talk about other people and act like I know what other people have done, been through, do on a day-to-day basis to achieve what they achieve. Which is why you end up with people saying to people like me, oh, it's all right for you, or it must be nice. As if I was just born into the fucking life that I've got now, as if it was just, this has always been my situation. As if I've spent my whole life with a fucking silver spoon in my mouth. And it's not, but that is the kind of corrosive mentality that just then shows that people are never going to change. Because I am incredible at what I do. There are if somebody comes to me who wants to change and they work with me, they're going to change. That sounded like a threat. I didn't intend for it to sound like a threat. It was more of a positive thing. They're definitely going to change because they want to and they do everything that I tell them to. And I'm not often wrong. So if I tell someone to do something in the pursuit of their goal, it's going to move them in the right direction. But I have worked with many people who have come to me and they haven't wanted to change. They've known that they needed to, but needing to and wanting to are completely different things. And if you don't want to change, I can't make you. There's nothing that I could put in place for someone that will make the change happen if they don't want to do it. You have to need it and want it. But as soon as you do, everything changes. So if there's anything that's been popping into your head when I've been talking about this area of your life that you need to raise your standards in, if it's something that you've needed to improve, or you feel like you've wanted to improve it for a long time and it hasn't, it's because your standards have been too low when you've been applying yourself to try and improve it. Doesn't matter whether it's finances, skill acquisition, relationships, communication, anything. All it means is that the amount of effort that you've been willing to apply to it on a day-to-day basis and the consistency that you've been willing to apply to it over the macro, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, has been below where it needs to be. Because one of the reasons that I just love being so objective with life and not having that ethereal spirituality and it's the universe or it's God or it's fucking this, that and the other, blah, blah, blah. It's me doing what I do and that is what moves the needle. Because if the needle that I'm trying to move isn't moving, it's not because the universe doesn't like me. It's not because life is against me. It's not because life's unfair. Life is incredibly fair. Because I've experienced it time and time again. I've been making effort towards something and it hasn't been happening. And instead of sulking about it like a bitch, I've doubled down and I've just made even more effort than I thought that I could. And I don't go, I'm going to do this for 2 days, and if it doesn't magically start happening, then the secret isn't real, and I'm going to fucking cry about it. I just do it and do it and do it and do it and do it, and then guess what happens? As soon as you've made the right amount of effort, or more effort than is needed, for the right amount of time, life just goes, there you go, and gives you the keys to the next level of your life. Every time, without fail. But life also reminds you, once you get to the next level, it also holds the key for the floor. So if you stop making the effort that's required to stay at that level, it'll turn the key and you'll fall back down to the level below. Which, again, is completely fair. Because the standard for living here is a lot higher than the standard for living down here. So if you get to here and then you suddenly drop back, you're going to fall all that way. And that, to me, just makes flawless sense. It's such a good system because it's all on me. If something in my life hasn't gone the way I wanted to, I've just gone, right, where was I fucking up? I take a step back and I assess what I've been thinking, what I've been feeling, my behaviour, the actions that I've been taking and who I've actually been living my life as. And the answer is always in those 5 things. Every time, without fucking fail. It's never been, my kids needed me too much. Beth wasn't fucking doing whatever she does enough. Or it's the government, or it's fucking somebody else, or blah, blah, blah. It's always been me. Every single time. And I love that. I love that level of responsibility for my life. Because you know why? Because it means that if that's the way that life works, and somebody external to me tries to take away from me what I've got, they can't. The only way they can is I would have to relinquish it. I would have to be willing to let them take it. You know, if somebody comes into the same arena as me and tries to attract the clients that I've got, say somebody wanted to start up an identity community on school and they wanted to try to poach you guys, they won't be able to because I would outwork them. I would hate to compete against myself. But the thing is that that's the only person that I ever have to compete against. And it's the same for all of us. We don't have external competition. Most people have got it convinced that the market that you're in, you're competing against everybody else. Like Lewis, Harry, you're competing against other online coaches. You know, Matthew, you're competing against other closers. Aaron's competing against other tattoo artists. Stephen's competing against other perverts. It's not like that. Isn't the way that it works. Don't shake your head, mate. You knew that. There's no way I was going to say something sensible.
No, but I didn't mean, no, you're wrong. I just meant there's no competition because I'm the best at it.
Exactly. There is no one person's face print against more people's bedroom windows. But that's it. There is no competition other than yourself and the standards that you hold yourself to. I'll let everybody calm down after that. I wasn't expecting that to get any kind of reaction, but there we go. But that's it. Like, and that's really liberating. Because I mean, I work with a lot of coaches. Obviously, I've got the psychology of coaching. I speak to a lot of coaches. And so many of them say the market's saturated, it's saturated. It's so fucking what? Do you know the best thing about being yourself and doing what you do in a saturated market? It makes it so easy to stand out. Because if there's 10,000 online coaches in the UK at the moment, 9,900 of them are shit. So you're not in competition with 10,000 people. And the other 100 that you're in the group with, you're not in competition with them either, because they've got their clients. There's more than enough people to go around, because yes, you may be an online coach in the UK, but guess what? The internet goes everywhere. All over the world. All the time that I was online coaching, I always had clients in the US, in Australia, South Africa, all over Europe, the UK, Canada, you name it, fucking everywhere. Everywhere. Because that's just the way that the internet works. There's no shortness of clients. You are fighting against nobody but yourself. You're fighting against nobody but your own ability to remain undistracted. That's it. And honestly, it's one of adopt that mentality and just watch how quickly your life can actually change. When you stop thinking, I'm not getting clients because other PTs, other online coaches. I'm not getting a good offer because of other closers. I'm not closing because of other closers. I'm not blah, blah, blah. It's all bollocks. Like, if you just become the very best version of yourself and simultaneously the very best version of what you are, that is all you need to do to stand out. It's like Aaron. He's a fucking phenomenal tattoo artist. An absolute fucking crazy artist as well. He doesn't need to compete with other tattoo artists, because try and find another tattoo artist that does what he does, the style that he can create. There are none. So who's he in competition with in the tattoo world? No one. The only thing that Aaron is in competition with, just like I am, just like the rest of us are, is awareness. The only thing you need to ensure that you are successful is that enough fucking people know that you exist. That's it. It's like on School, the platform that I run my communities through. The about page, the information page for your community, it counts how many people land on it for you, so it gives you all the analytics. And all of the communities that do over $100,000 a month all have an average conversion rate of 2%. And the reason why they do over 100 grand a month, and that's over 100 grand runs all the way up to 800,000 a month. That's what the highest earning community on school is doing at the moment, 800 grand a month. The reason why they get so much money is because even at 2%, they've got so many people that are aware that their community exists, and so many people land on that information page that the amount of people that sign up is enormous. Whereas you've got other communities that could have a conversion rate of like 40, 50%. And you think, that's fucking amazing. It's like, yeah, it is, but when they only get 14 people a month that land on their about page because nobody knows that they fucking exist, it doesn't translate into a lot of money. And then when you factor in churn being at the average of about 25 to 30%, of those 7 people who join every week, they're losing 3 of them, there or thereabouts, losing 2 to 3 every month. So they end up stagnating. They're stuck in the same place. So, like, for me now, my information pages on both of them are exactly where I need them to be. They are as good as it needs to be, and as good as they're going to get. Because my conversion rate is just shy of 9%. So it's way, way higher than the average. All I need now is more eyes on it. That's it. So that's what I use Instagram for. It's what I use YouTube for. Like, if any of you were to promote it, talk to a friend about it, send somebody else to it, again, that's all part of the same thing. But that's all I need to focus on now. Because the classroom is going to continue to grow as I add more into it. These calls are going to continue to be as beneficial as you guys find them, however beneficial that is. The about page is going to stay the same. The only thing that's going to change on it is the testimonials. So if anybody messages me to say, you know, like, this particular course, this particular module is really, really good, or the calls or whatever, that will get put on it just so it's an updated testimonial. It's an updated review, so to speak. But everything else that I do now is just to bring more people to it, to make more people aware. That's what every business is fighting against. And who is responsible for people finding out that you exist? You. Exactly. You know, but people... I had this conversation yesterday. It's fucking really funny. People have got such a fucking deluded concept of how things work when it comes to business that if I don't laugh, I'd probably go all fucking Romo on the fucking situation. Because I was speaking to someone yesterday and they wanted to try a new style of content because they thought that the new style of content was going to work really well. And I was just like, yeah, sweet, like, fucking excellent, do that. But they've already stopped. It's like, oh, why have you stopped? Because it wasn't working. I was like, define wasn't working. Well, I did a reel. I did a reel yesterday, and I did a reel this morning, and the views were lower than what I would normally get. I was like, what's your point? They're like, well, it's not working. I was like, how the fuck would you know? Your sample size is 2. They're like, that. There isn't enough data there to fucking judge anything. I was like, what are you talking about? Well, how long would you change your style of content for before you abandoned it? I was just like, 100 days. And if I'm going to commit to a new approach of content, I'm not just going to, by the seat of my pants, just one night go, I'm going to change my content style. And then just start posting some fucking half-baked piece of shit content and just expect it to fucking magically just turn into the thing that's been missing the entire time. I said I would plan it so that I could produce anywhere between 3 to 5 pieces of feed content every day for 100 days. Because then the sample size is anywhere between 4 and 500. That's actionable data. That's going to tell you whether your demographic for your content has changed, whether you started to attract males or females. And if you want more males than females, and it starts to attract more females than males, then you know that something's not fucking right and you need to change the messaging. You know, if you want to approach and attract clients from the United States and you're getting loads of people from India, then there's something going very fucking wrong. But if you've done 2 pieces, that isn't even a drop in the bucket. That data is fucking evaporated before it's hit the bottom of the bucket. So, yeah, it's if you're going to do anything, you've got to fucking do it properly, basically. Oh, I've got it. What the fuck that? I don't know how. Yeah. It's one of my dog's hairs in between my teeth. Don't worry, I've not been licking the dog. I promise I've not been licking the dog. Steve, shut the fuck up. But yeah, so that's part of it as well. If you were going to adopt a new anything, what standard are you going to adopt it at? Because for me at the moment, I'm actually in the process. I'm just about to transition and alter the style of content that I produce, because I know for what I need now, there needs to be a shift. So I'm in the planning process of it. I'm planning the content for YouTube. I'm planning the shift in content for Instagram. And once I know the flow of the content, the way that I'm going to approach it, what the introduction, like what the hook is going to be, etc., and I know that each piece of content that I go to make, I'm going to be able to make easier because I've got the system broken down in my head, then I'll start. I'm not going to start now while it's still unfinished, because that would be pointless. So, and I know I've said this numerous times, but it's because it's so accurate, it's so poignant. But at the very least, never do anything that makes your life harder. And with that, obviously, if learning a new skill, if working harder, if doing something challenging makes your life harder, that's different. I mean, never do anything that makes your life harder with no benefit. Which you would think, well, yeah, fucking obviously, but trust me, about 98% of the population, it's not so obvious. In fact, from a standards perspective, Steve's a great example, because Steve spent years talking about getting in shape, spent years about being a bodybuilder, years about getting stronger, getting bigger, looking good, etc., etc., but all he was doing was talking. He knew he needed to feel better about himself, but he didn't really want to. He didn't want to go through the process that he knew he needed to go through. He didn't want to suffer that much. He wanted to try and find some kind of shortcut. He wanted to find some way that made it easy. And that's something else that I said to someone today. If you are putting more effort into trying to find the easy route of the thing that you're pursuing, stop pursuing it and find something else, because you don't care about the journey, but you also don't really care about the end destination either. Because if you did, easy wouldn't be a part of the equation. You wouldn't give a fuck. It's like anybody who has climbed Mount Everest. They didn't try to find the easiest path. They just climbed Everest because they wanted the view. They wanted to be able to say that they've done that thing. And they were willing to risk dying in order to be able to do it. There is no easy path. Because even before you can climb to base camp, you have to train. You can't just on a fucking whim just go, I'm going to climb Everest. Because if you do, most people don't make it to base camp, which is crazy. And that's not the fucking difficult bit. I think base camp at Everest is like 4,800 metres. And I think Everest overall is 8,800. So that last 4,000 metres is where it goes from like this to go in like that. And you're climbing up like a 45, 40 degree angle at certain points, which would be like climbing a ladder. Which when you're on the edge of a fucking mountain sounds horrifically not fun. Which is why so many people die every year. I don't know if any of you ever seen that video that circulated on Instagram a little while ago, maybe about a year or so ago. There was two parties climbing Everest at the same time. First one had set off maybe an hour or so ahead. Whilst we were climbing up, I think 4 of the people from that party fell at the same time and came fucking screaming down Everest like a fucking bobsleigh team. Obviously they weren't behind each other, they were all over the fucking shot, but they were just rolling and tumbling all the way down. They were very dead by the time they reached the other people, but like it's dangerous shit. But yeah, that's it. If you actually want something, as I said loads of times, just prove it. Like if you can't go to bed at night knowing that you've done as much as you possibly could in order to achieve the thing that you say that you want, that's probably why you don't sleep very well. or it's why you struggle to get to sleep, or it's why you spend so much time worrying about shit instead of thinking about what you're going to do when you get up tomorrow. That's why I spend such a short period of time ever worrying about anything, because it's fucking pointless. Worrying doesn't achieve anything. Any time that is spent worrying could be spent planning. It could be spent taking action. It could be spent learning. It could be spent doing something that's actually productive, but worrying is not. Worrying doesn't fix anything. All it does is it drives people into an even deeper fear state. And when you are fearful, you become irrational. And when you're irrational, you cannot make good decisions. If you can't make good decisions, you're not going to take enough action. And as soon as you stop taking action, what happens? The whole loop starts to fall apart. Your thoughts change, your feelings change, your behaviour changes, your action changes. Eventually, over a long enough time period, your identity changes. And your identity is going to dictate how successful you are going to be or not. Because that's one of the reasons. If any of you guys ever known someone who's tried to lose weight over and over and over and over again, and they've failed again and again and again and again, and then all of a sudden one time they try and they just fucking succeed, and they just almost like A to B, they streamline it, and it might be like they might have been trying for 10 years, 15 years, and all of a sudden like that they succeed. Why? The reason why is purely because something changes inside of them emotionally. They finally get to a point where that awareness of self is impossible to avoid. They can't not sit back and go, right, I've wanted the same thing for 15 years and it still hasn't happened. And over that time I've been making this excuse and that excuse and the other fucking excuse. It's been my partner, it's been my kids, it's been my job, it's been where I live, it's been all of these different things. And then when they look at the life now, 10, 15 years down the line, all of those things that were the previous reason why they couldn't get in shape are not in the life anymore. They've got a different job, they live in a different area, they've got a different house, they've got a different partner, the kids have grown up. So why are they still fat? And all they do is they exhaust all of their excuses, and eventually all you're left with is that fortune cookie that gives you the actual answer. You crack it open and it just says, it's your fault. It's you. You're the one that needs to change. And they accept it. And that's it. Like that, everything changes. Everybody just needs to get to that point faster. Like, you don't need to fail 50 times before you learn the lessons. Oh, you've got a bit of a breeze over there, Lewis. Because it's at that point when there's no breeze that you open the window and you're just like, yes, hot air, come in, meet hot air that's in the room.
I've moved into shadow, so the sun's gone now. So yeah, so now it's a nice breeze coming in.
Lovely. Oh dear. Right, I just talked for like 40 minutes, so I'm going to give somebody else an opportunity. Unless this is another one of those moments where I've just said things that are so profound that everybody's just like, oh my God, he's amazing. Nobody's got anything to say. Nobody's got any questions. So that was a no. See you later, everyone.
Yeah, I was
unrelated to the topic, but where's Steve from?
Where's Steve from? Oh, he's from the same area as I am, Greater Manchester. Why do you ask?
Personal.
Oh. Personal reasons.
Huh? Personal interest. Might be a fun person to converse.
I'm not fun. I'm boring. I'm very boring. Just say inappropriate things to get a reaction, whether they're people freaking out and going, "Ugh, I don't like that," but that makes me feel warm inside, so that's why I do it.
Yeah, he's always been like that. It's just your wheelhouse, isn't it, man? That's what you're best at. Harry, were you going to say something then? Was it you or was it somebody else?
Yeah, I was just going to ask about, it was something you put up on your story last night about people making content that's for them or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand. I mean, I think I got what you're saying.
I see a lot of coaches. So for me, if somebody is going to coach, you have to have yourself regulated. You should have your shit together, because if you don't, you are a liability in your client's life, because they're going to be subject to any kind of turmoil that you experience. For somebody to be a truly effective coach, you have to be able to experience shit in your life and it not bleed into your service. You need to be able to go through shit and it not alter the way that you deal with people, assess what they've said, etc. Your emotions can't come into the equation, essentially. So like for me, when I was going through all of my shit, divorce, custody battle, blah, 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 stress levels were high, emotions were frayed, etc. But that didn't impact any of my clients, because I can completely separate the two. Now, I know not all coaches are going to be able to do it to the same degree, but you should all, at an absolute minimum, be making every effort to ensure that your skill and the ability to do that is increasing, which is why there's a section dedicated to it in the psychology of coaching. But what I see often is coaches who, I could tell you when they've broken up with their partner. Even when they don't mention it. They don't say anything, and they're not posting sad quotes or passive-aggressive quotes, but I can tell you with the shift in the way that they write copy, I can tell you with the shift in the topics that they talk about, what it is that they're going through and where they are. Because I've ended up with one-on-one clients before where I've messaged people off the back of 1, 2, 3 pieces of content and gone, dude, this is completely off-piece for you. What's going on? Like, when did such a thing happen? And they're like, how the fuck did you know that that happened? The only person I've told that to is X, Y, and Z, and I don't know any of those people. I'm like, because it's that obvious. Thankfully, it's to me, and it's not a flashing neon sign to everybody. But I've ended up with people be like, fuck, if it's that serious, if it's that obvious, then I need to do something about it. But that's what I meant with that piece of content last night. People who are going through financial hardship create content in a certain way. If a coach is struggling to get new clients, they produce content in a certain type of way. If they're feeling a bit shit about themselves, they produce content in a certain type of way. It's like if a coach is in a position where they need external validation because they for whatever reason have fallen into a pattern of being unable to validate themselves. Could be that the business isn't performing as well as it was. Money's down, clients are down, they're feeling a bit shit about themselves, they're licking the wounds. So then they start talking about emotional shit in the content all the time, because then they get loads of external validation from other people. Like, as a female coach who I follow, and she did it the other day, she posted something that was so fucking wildly personal. I'm like, listen, like, let people into your life, kind of. You know, like, let people know bits about your history, your life, and stuff like that, but there's a fucking limit. There's an enormous difference between transparency and just betraying your own privacy. And she's completely fucking kicked the door off the fucking hinges and gone through that barrier. And I know for a fact that that is what she needs right now. She needs the external validation, because the whole comment section was all women, and it was all, oh, I'm so proud of you, you're this, you're that, you're amazing, everybody building her up. Very next fucking day, she's producing another piece of content similar to that, because of the outreach and the reaction that everybody had to the piece of content that she made before. It validated her decision to produce that content. And the problem is, she will continue to do that until she gets more clients and her money increases, or she finds a new fella to fucking have by her side. And like that, all of a sudden, all of that shit will stop. And because she's got her shit together again and she's feeling more grounded and more stable, all of her content will go back to being much more hardline. It's you against you. no fucking excuses, just do what needs to be done, yada yada yada. And I see it, and some people fucking swing like from fucking pillar to post. And it's crazy, but I see it all the time. Everything, it's all patterns, Harry. Everything. Holby, will you fucking stop it? Go away. Everything's patterns of behavior, and that's something that anybody who's a coach, you should be honing in on that skill as much as anything else. Because every time a client does something, let's say a client ghosts, right? There is going to be a pattern of behavior that has been ongoing for at least a week before they started to ghost. Whereas most of the coaches that I speak to will send me a screenshot of the message that they've received from a client or sent to a client and it's been ignored. And they'll be like, what would you do from this point? And I'm like, go back in time 2 weeks and pay fucking attention to what your client's saying and the way that they're acting and the shift in their behavior. Because the reason that they've ghosted is because they were sending out signals that a really good coach would have picked up on. You missed it, and they've just fucking felt like, right, well, I can't actually open up to him, so I'm going to fucking disappear. So pattern recognition, massively, massively important skill if you are going to coach anybody. And Matthew, same thing for you. If you're going to close, you have to be able to recognise patterns, the shifts in. For you, it's a little bit more intense than it would be for a coach, because most coaches, it's all through text. For you, when you're on a call with someone, at least when I'm on a call with someone, I'm listening to not only what they're saying, but I'm listening to the tone of voice. I'm listening to the intonations of the voice, the emphasis that they put on certain words, the pace that they speak at, the way that they're breathing, body language, the whole thing. Because I can ask a question and be given 8 visual signals that tell me everything that I need to know before they've even opened their mouth. And then they can say what they say, and I'm just like, right, that was bullshit, let's try again. Tell me what is actually going on. What did you think as soon as I asked the question? And now when you'll get, well, the first thing that came into my mind was this and blah, blah, blah. And then, whereas if I didn't know to do all of those things, I would take what they've said at face value and I would follow that as the conversation, which means that they're in control. Because if all I can go off is everything they say is going to steer the ship. Yeah? Because you will get calls with people where they will say whatever it is, like, you know, I really want to do this, and, you know, it's really, really important to me. And most people get excited and they'll be like, yeah, amazing, because we can do this, and this is the way that the system works, and and they start selling the product. Whereas for me, if somebody was saying something like that, my first question would be, how long have you wanted it? And when they go, oh, years, I go, and why hasn't it happened yet? They all of a sudden go, and then I sit there in silence, and you're just left with this while I wait, and allow it to be as uncomfortable as it needs to be for them to finally go, I've just not been making enough effort, or because I've not had enough help, I've not had this, whatever the next question, the next answer is going to tell me what question to load. So again, pattern recognition, you've got to look at. I mean, that's something that we can work on, because that's the kind of thing that it makes you feel fucking superhuman when you know how to do it well, because you'll see someone actively trying to get around you. And it's like fighting fucking Neo. Every time you turn around, he's already stood behind you, and you're just like, boy, whatever.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I can see that make a massive difference on calls for sure. Because people just throw out their service level identity, right? But you gotta go into it.
Exactly, and that's the thing. And if you always just take somebody at surface value, you're never going to say the right things. It's like when somebody is dealing with something and they get somebody who gets buyer's remorse. They sign up on the call or whatever, and then after the fact they get a dispute, you know, or they get a charge back. And they're like, oh, fucking hell, I don't know why, because they seemed so keen and they were saying all the right things and blah, blah. It's like, yeah, they were saying all the right things, but they weren't feeling any of the right things. You know, that's why if somebody just runs through a script to try and sell something, the amount of chargeback and disputes that offer is going to get is going to be exponentially higher than an offer that might have fewer closers, but actual closers. People who understand how to communicate, how to challenge people, how to qualify people. Those are the kind of skills that are completely, completely infallible once you've got them.
Amazing.
Alshra.
I wanted to ask about, I guess, the difference between removing friction from something to make it easier and choosing the easy path. Because as a beginner, like I kind of flows into the same concept for me, so I kind of need a little bit of a distinction. Like trying to make something easier to achieve that versus like going for the easy, like choosing the easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. More often than not, it's the same thing. When you're first starting out with something, the easiest way to reduce friction is to just do the hard yards, build up resilience, acquire skill, and just get familiar with the process. That is going to reduce the learning curve faster than anything else will. But most people want to find the easier route so that it requires less effort, but they can get the same end result. That's the thing that I always try to steer people away from. I would rather somebody spend 3 months going through the hard yards and acquiring skill every day than spending 3 months trying to find a guaranteed way of doing it that requires a lot less effort. Because even if the person who's spent 3 months trying to find the easy way finds it, in 12 months' time, the other person who's just done the hard yards from day one is going to be outperforming them 10-1. And that could be you.
So like I was thinking in the concept of, let's say, meal prep. Because
in the concept of
what?
Meal prep
seems to be like the easy way. Meal prep? Food prep?
Food prep?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, again, with that's just systems. You will try one method and do that for a little while, try a different method, do that for a little while, try another method, and then once you've done enough for long enough, you've got enough data to be able to go, the second way that I did it was the fastest. It got all of the meals made that I needed for the next 2 days, 3 days, and then I didn't need to food prep again until Wednesday evening. So say like you food prep Sunday evening and you make Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday's meals. You then meal prep again on Wednesday night. Some people do it like that. Other people, whenever I needed to prep, I used to make my meals fresh. So at the most, I would cook at night for, say like Sunday night, I would make Monday's food. That would be it. Monday night, I'd make Tuesdays. Tuesday, I'd make Wednesdays. Because I fucking hated eating old food.
Right. So, well, because for me personally, like, let's say, cooking the same thing on a Sunday for the whole week ahead, it seems like just a very easy, no-brain kind of thing, but I personally hate it. But it's easy, it's removing the friction from where I need to get.
Yeah, but if you're removing friction in one area and it increases friction in another, then you're not actually benefiting yourself. Because yes, you can prep all of your week's food on a Sunday evening and then you don't need to for the rest of it. But then by the time that you get to day 4, day 5, that food is fucking shit. And then eating it has got more resistance and friction. So, you're stealing from one hand to give to the other. So what I would do is Sunday evening, I would make Monday and Tuesday's food, but I would weigh out and prep, keep it all raw, but weigh out all of the rest of your meals for the week. So chicken, stuff like that can go in the fridge or in the freezer, depending on when it's going to be used. But have it bagged up in the portion size that you need so that when it comes time to prep again, all you're doing is retrieving bags of the relevant foods already weighed out. Cooking it takes that long. So the only evening that meal prep takes any appreciable time is Sunday evening, because you are weighing out your week's food, cooking 2 days, and then you're done. That would probably be the easiest way for both sides, so that the meal enjoyment would be highest throughout the week, and the actual prep time would be reduced throughout the week as well.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I
Matthew, fire away, mate.
question. Yeah, I was just thinking of what you said before about fear drives you into indecision, and then you can't make a good enough decision from that place. So you get stuck in this loop of like worry, and then your standards lower, and then your actions fall off, and then it's basically this cascade of then you erode your beliefs, and then you change your identity, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I can see that's like a spiraling down. You get caught in that loop, right? So what breaks that loop? Is it just awareness and then just making a decision and going enough is enough? Because you can see how people get caught in that loop for fucking years potentially.
Yeah.
But it's like, I guess I'm just trying to get a sense of like, if I'm facing that, if I'm fearful of something and that destabilizes my ability to reason and rationalize and make a good decision, and then do you know what I mean? It's like, well, how do you then? What's the? I guess, is there a cue, or is it just like an internal thing going up? But like, no more of this shit. Well, because obviously you're right. Because you're right. Worrying doesn't serve fucking anything.
It doesn't, but it can be an eventual internal alarm system that goes off, like I was talking about before. Eventually, after 10 or 15 years, you'll get to the point where you'll be like, I'm not fucking living like this anymore. What the fuck is going on? Then you'll get shit together. What I would recommend, though, is instead of waiting for 2 fucking decades and losing the majority of your life, the beauty of the fact is that your feelings are later in the chain. So you think first, then you feel. So if you are sat of an evening and you feel worried, I would immediately step back from it and go, right, if I feel worried now, what have I just been thinking about? Because that's going to highlight it for you. When I think about this, I feel like this, I feel worried. And when I become worried, I become scared. When I become scared, my behaviour changes. I become, I self-sabotage, I self-betray. That is, the self-betrayal is then the action. You do that for long enough and you start to paint a very clear picture of who you actually are, which is a bitch who sits around feeling sorry for himself and then sabotaging his own fucking life and feeling bad about it. And then you're like, oh, why do I feel low? I fucking wonder why. Look in the mirror. So as soon as you feel whatever you feel, think about what you've just been thinking about. Because I can guarantee if you ever feel worried, fearful, scared, pessimistic, etc., you've definitely been thinking about things going in the negative. What if I don't make it? What if I never break 10k months? What if I move to Mexico and everything goes to shit? What if? Well, what if you end up doing 100k a month and you don't know what to spend all your fucking money on? What if you move to Mexico and then you end up moving to fucking Las Vegas and you meet the love of your life and then you have kids and life's absolutely fucking amazing. You end up setting up your own thing and you end up a fucking multimillionaire and your dick grows and fucking life's amazing. Like for me, the thing is that it requires just as much mental energy to think about the positive and fantasize about this amazing life that if you could wake up in it tomorrow, you'd be like, oh my God, this is fucking unreal. What is that life? What does it look like? Fantasize about fucking living that life. Because at the very least, what is definitely going to happen is you're going to look after this. You're going to think better. You're going to feel better. Your behaviour is going to be better, right? Like, at the moment, I want my community to grow. I want to raise as much awareness as possible. I want to get as many people into it so I can have as much impact on as many people as possible. When I get more people in, I can start doing events. I could be making 100, 150, 300,000 a month from the community. When I'm earning that kind of money, I can be like, oh, by the way, everybody, if you can get a plane ticket to fucking Greece, I'm going to rent this fucking massive villa and we're going to just spend a week doing a mastermind on becoming the fucking best version of ourselves. It's going to be fucking mint. If you can get there, I'll fucking see you there. I won't even need to charge for it. It could be exclusive to people that are in the community, and yeah, it might be exclusive to the people that can afford it, but fuck it, it is what it is. Maybe the desire to be at this event would be the thing that would then catalyse people who can't afford it to get the shit together. Right? But that's what my mind goes to during the day. I don't sit here going, oh, what content do I need to produce to make more people? I just think, how fucking sick is it going to be? Earlier today, I was on fucking Airbnb looking at villas in Greece that were, like, for a 4-day stint were like 16, 17 grand. That's what I did at one point today, while I was walking on the treadmill, after Steve had finished fucking talking to me. Fucking cunt. But, like, that's the way that my mind works. You know, on Saturday, when I'm going to take Penelope to gymnastics, and then when we're finished at gymnastics, we're going to go to the Bentley garage, because I want my little girl to sit in the car that she's going to end up sitting in the near future. Because that's the visualization process. I don't go, oh, I really want a Bentayga Speed, and then worry about my business is not making any money. Because how the fuck am I ever going to live my fucking dreams if I think about that all the time? It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense to me. What is the point in being pessimistic when you can be optimistic? What's the point of being ungrateful when you can be grateful? What's the point of being unappreciative when you can be appreciative? It's like last night, I was putting the fucking bin out. So I'm dragging a fucking wheelie bin to the front of the house. And I was like, it's mad how long it actually takes me to just put the bin out now because of the fucking route down the side of the house. I've got a big fucking gate that I need to open. The driveway is fucking way longer than any driveway I've ever had. And then once I've put the bin out, I turn and look, and my house is fucking there. And even though I've lived there since October of 24, I still look at it and I'm like, that's my fucking house. I live there. That's my house. This is so fucking cool. Walking back to it this morning after I'd gone for my morning walk, living right down the fucking lane from a reservoir, I walked towards the house and I was just like, let's go and fucking do some fucking mad shit and make life even better for me and other people. That's what I was thinking about at 6 o'clock in the morning as I was walking back into my house. It's like, and we can all do that all the time. Like, I genuinely feel like if I got an issue with my health and I went and they were like, it's cancer, I'd just be like, yeah, don't worry about it, I'll be fine. I've got too much shit to do. Like, what? I'm not going to sit there and worry and think, oh my God, what about if I die, and what were the kids doing about? I don't need to worry about that because I'm not going to let that fucking happen. That's how delusional I am, that I'm going to succeed.
But there's probably an argument because of the way that you do think, and you are optimistic. You probably wouldn't attract that kind of disease state anyway.
Yeah.
There's probably an argument.
I've probably already had cancer about 4 or 5 times, and as soon as it shows up in my body, all of my fucking cells just show up and fucking get it in a fucking RNC. Oh, fuck off, you cunt.
Yeah, that's it. No, I love it. And I think it's really what I'm getting is the reframe is just really like, what if this? You know, what if X? It all works out, as you just said. It's continually coming back to shifting your focus onto the positive, away from the negative.
Yeah. Yeah, because the thing is,
that's an effort thing.
Yeah.
Initially, that's going to require effort.
Yeah, to train your mind it's always going to require effort. But if you've taken the time to train your mind to be negative all the time, then you can take the time to train it to be positive all the time. And it's not even about that. It's not about being positive 100% of the time. Because everybody's mind, mine included, will always think of negatives now and then. Because it's part of life and you have to be conscious of both. Otherwise, you are genuinely being delusional at that point. You make yourself vulnerable if you're unwilling to see negatives, because that means that you'd be so easy to manipulate, because you would just think that everybody had good intentions. Everybody wanted the best for you. That's definitely not the fucking case. But where it comes into the area of my life that is I deem to be 100% controllable by me, no fucking way am I spending time being negative. Because there's no benefit. And whatever I think about, the control that I've got over my mind, that is going to alter my children's life. You know, like, imagine me having to say to the kids one day, right, kids, sorry, but because I've been worried and I've just been thinking and sitting and worrying and panicking about the business, instead of just fucking doing what needs to be done, we have to move out of the fucking house. We have to go and live in some fucking pokey little shithole, not in the fucking nicest area of the town that we live in, but somewhere else. And I will do what I need to get us back into where we were. No. Absolutely not. That's why I don't see anybody else's competition. Because if you go onto the Discover Communities section on school and type in identity, every community that has got identity in its name will pop up. Every community that is about identity will show up, and there'll be pages of them. At the moment, I think I'm 4th on school for identity. When you type in psychology or coaching pops up, I'm 1st. But even if I was 100th, I wouldn't see all of the others and like, I need to do what I can to beat them, because they're not competent. They can't do what I do. There's nowhere else that anybody can go to get access to a classroom with modules in it that are like the ones that I've made, because nobody else has those. I created them. So I'm not in competition with other people. Other people can see themselves in competition with me if they want to. Good luck to them. But I'm not gonna spend my time worrying that I've got these fucking other people to fight. Because it's a nonsense. It's not the way that life works. Right.
It's awesome, mate. Thank you.
My pleasure, mate. Does anybody have any questions that they want to ask before we part ways? Does anybody have any inappropriate comments that they want to make before we part ways, or?
I was going to say, if Matthew does go to Mexico and his dick does grow, how much is his donut monthly allowance going to be?
That's a really good point.
Cheap donuts over there, Harry.
Yeah, but if your dick grows, you'll still need to spend a substantial amount of money.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
That's why I've been quiet, because I've been doing maths for you.
Have you? Yeah, and what's
Mate, that's the thing though. We're all assuming that if it grows, it's going to be longer than 3 inches. Might not be.
Might only fit half a donut.
Oh dear.
Wouldn't even break through the other side of a Timbit. You know the holes you get. Be like one glazed donut, one glazed bollock, and 2 fucking horrible sweaty ones.
The glaze is the only thing keeping it there.
Yeah. Stuck on. It's like a clip, but smaller. Smellier.
You do this thing in Grace, if you provide all the food and stuff. If there's donuts there, no one's going to touch them.
Absolutely
I'm
fucking
going
not.
to touch the donuts. Don't you fucking worry.
Do you know what I think I will do when we end up at one of those events and there will be donuts? I'm going to purposely stretch in the middle of a few of them.
But aren't a Greek donut like the inside of a donut, the whole of a donut?
Oh, they could be.
You can buy those, yeah. Donut holes.
Luca Martis or something, I think they call them.
Well, you learn something new every day, don't you? We can all enjoy those when we get there. But yeah,
just for me to put them on our dicks. That's all.
Just keep your mind right. You know, there's no fucking benefit to worrying about a negative outcome in your life when you can spend that time thinking about how fucking mint it'll be when everything works, because you're going to commit to yourself and work your fucking cock off.
And then you won't need any donuts.
No, you won't. You just kind of rub it against yourself. But yeah, that's it, because it's you know, it's like obviously Steve just fucking an absolute fucking goofball all the time. But the shape that he's gotten himself into now is fucking light years from where he used to be. So different from where he used to be. And he's only getting better. But that's purely because he stopped worrying about the difficulty of the process, and he stopped worrying about what if this happens and what if that happens. Because I think eventually, after a long enough time period, the what if this happens, what if that happens becomes what if I never do it? What if I end up getting old and I've never seen myself in shape? What if I'm just a fat cunt for the rest of my life?
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
That's exactly my mind. I just went, what if I just never fucking do it? And then I'm just a miserable fat sack of shit for the rest of my days, and I don't want that.
Yeah. And I can't tell you how many people I coached over the years who were in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, who finally got in shape, and all of them said, I wish I'd done this when I was younger. I wish I'd done this when I was 20. I wish I'd done this when I was 25, when I was 30. I wish I'd done it years ago. All of them. There was none that went, oh, I really regret this. I wish I'd stayed fat. I wish I'd kept myself in a position where I needed to wash the fold under my back tits. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't fucking happen. And the thing is that people create these weird little fantasy fallacies and worrying about a problem that they perceive that they're going to have to deal with once they've succeeded. You know, I get people say to me, oh yeah, I really want to grow my business, but I don't want to pay all that tax. What? Shut up, you. That would be like saying, oh, I really want a 12-inch cock, but I don't want it to hang out the bottom of my shorts. It's not going to fucking happen anyway. You don't need to worry about it, do you? Because, trust me, when you've got the difference between earning a bit of money and having a really bog standard life, or earning a lot of money and paying a lot of tax, paying a lot of tax, it hurts, but it's way better. And you just try and pay as little as possible. Not that I would ever condone doing that, because obviously I don't do that. I pay everything that I owe, because I'm a good boy. But that's my point. There's no point. People do that all the time. But what if I get in shape and my arms are veiny, and the girl that would love me doesn't like veiny arms? Trust me, she likes veiny arms more than fat, skinny ones. That there's no eventuality where you play the what if game and you try to create a negative from the positive outcome, because that is what people do. It'd be like what people say to me, oh, what's your car like on fuel? I'm like, shit, why? Oh, but like what miles per gallon does it get? If I'm driving normally, it'll do about 22. If I'm driving fast, 6. Right, fucking hell, that must be well expensive on fuel. I'm like, oh my god, I don't fucking care. Who cares? It sounds fucking cool. It's loud and it's really fucking fast. I don't care about the fucking fuel economy. That's not why you buy something that's 450 fucking brake horsepower. Like, think about it. People go, oh, I wouldn't, even if I could afford it, I wouldn't fly first class. I couldn't justify spending all that extra money just for the same flight. Have you ever flown first class? No. Well, shut up then. Shut up. If you've never experienced it, you've not got a fucking poker in the fire. Be quiet. Because trust me, once you fly first class, you're like, I'm not getting on a plane again unless I'm in first fucking class. What do I have to do to raise the standard of my life where that's the norm? That's why we experience these things. Why do you think on Saturday I'm going to go to the Bentley garage with Penelope? Because I want to be sat in the driver's seat and I want to look to my left and I want to see my princess sat next to me. That is what I want to see, because once it's here, it'll end up on the driveway. Like, I pulled into the lane that I live on to go and look at my previous house, and I saw this one and I went, I fucking want that house. Verbally, those words left my lips. I fucking want that house. And then 2 years and a month later, I moved into it. Because that's just the way it is. If you decide that you are going to have something, and then you act in accordance with that outcome, you will get whatever you want. If you, at the moment, have 10 clients and you want 100, do whatever action you need as many times as is needed so that you can get that. Aaron, if you want a waiting list that is so long that people will be like, can I book in with you? And you'll be like, yeah, next available slot's February of 28. Do the things that are necessary to make sure that that happens. Matt, you want to end up closing and doing what Eladio's done and doing 97k in a single month? Do what is necessary to do that. You know, I was broke, in debt, fuck all to my name, 3 kids, divorce, custody battle. Like, it was great times. And then the position that I'm in now, 11 years later, because this is the position that I wanted to be in, and I refuse to allow life to continue being the way that it was back then. Do not accept life as it is if it isn't the way that you want it to be. You know, and if there's somebody in your life that you say, I want to do 100 grand a month, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be able to fly everywhere first class, I want to be able to fucking drive whatever car I want, because the cost of the car, the cost of the fuel, the cost of the insurance means fucking nothing to me, and they've got a problem with any of those things, stop speaking to them. Because they're not the governance of your life. And anybody that does have something to say about your life, you've got to remember, they could die tonight, and that influence is gone forever. But they could also live for another 15 years. And those 15 years could be the difference between you living your life happy and having opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to meet somebody new, to have the family that you're supposed to have the life that you're supposed to have, or allowing them to influence you for 15 years, them eventually dying, and you not being in a position to follow your dreams anymore, missing out on the wife, the family, the lifestyle, and everything else. Because that's the sliding door effect. That is the way that it works. That's why I keep my circle so... My circle is so fucking small now, it's like a dot. It's me and my kids, and Beth. And my best friend Kelsey, who lives in Spain. That's about it. I know hundreds and hundreds of people that when I see, I'll stop, I'll speak to them, I'll shake their hand, I'll be genuinely happy to see them, and I'll chat to them, and then we'll part ways. And then I might not see him again for another year. Could be 5 years. I might never see him again. But I'm not going to allow somebody that is just kind of a mirage in a random part of a random day to have any kind of controlling interest over my life. And people that do are fucking lunatics. It'd be like putting Keir Starmer in charge of your fucking life decisions. Fucking very bad idea. I'll tell you what is a fucking bad idea. Getting that fucking knobhead Gary Stevenson having anything to do with the fucking economy. I'd love to hit that cunt with a fucking bus. What an absolute dickhead he is. Tax the rich, tax wealth, not work. Fuck off, knobhead. Anyway, that's a conversation for another day. Guy's a cunt. I don't like him. I don't know if you could tell. I hide it well. Anyway, I'm going to go because I think food is waiting for me downstairs.
Enjoy.
Thanks, Andrew.
I will do my best. Right, I'll see you all soon.
Thanks, guys.
See you.
Indeed.
Raise your
Cheers, guys.
standards. Everybody raise your standards.